So I'm sitting here at the Upper Meadow in the beautiful Leach Botanical Garden, and I'm with an artist, and I'm going to try to get your name right, all right? It's Zeba Tholden.
It is indeed.
Good, good, good. Now, Zeba, one of the things that I find amazing about your art is it concentrates on something that I didn't think a lot of artists really paid attention to, which is insects. So my first question has to be, what was the path that got you to thinking, I want to concentrate on these creatures to draw and paint and sculpt?
Sure. Well, one of the things when I was a child is that I used to spend hours outside in the creek, in the trees, turning over rocks, and I found that especially adults, they weren't looking at all of these amazing things, and I found that the more that I showed them, so if I were to take an insect off of the gardens that I had and just simply show someone, all of a sudden the colors and the textures, and they would really start to see them. And it was so incredible to me to be able to offer that, to show them what was a part of their nature, which was actually all around us.
And clearly a big part of our nature,
Yeah.
and one that many of us are completely unaware of, unless we're trying to demolish them in some way or get them
Right.
out of our house or
Right.
off our vegetables. So once you started getting older and you got into adulthood, was that when you really thought, I can do more with these? I can actually create them on paper and paint, pencil, all that kind of stuff?
Well, I've learned personally so much from the insects. When I first started painting, I was painting the Goliath regius beetle, which is an African native beetle. And I learned about color theory from the beetle. I
Wow.
learned about proportion, the golden mean. I learned all sorts of things from these beetles. And it's those compositions that I'm able to learn about as I'm drawing. So it has brought worlds into my world, not just the art itself.
And you know, that makes perfect sense, because they're almost mathematical in some of their designs.
Precisely.
Their colors can be breathtakingly exquisite, the combinations, or just the black and whites even can do that. So one of the things that I really enjoyed learning about you was that you're very almost intimate with the insects in the intricacy of which you work on them. And then you take that creature and expand it to where you can't really see it's the whole creature, but you take portions of it as design, which are amazing to me.
Well, you know, when I first start working, I start with a pencil and I start a very basic drawing, just get the idea on the canvas. But then as I continue to work, I add layers and layers of color, and it's the details at the end that I find, the shading, also the highlights, that really bring it from a two-dimensional piece into something that really feels lifelike.
Yeah.
And the closer that I get and the more I observe, the more I learn.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary.
And it really has opened your eyes to, I think it could have been the impetus for why you're also involved in actual care of these creatures. There's places all over the world that misuse them, and we tend to think that they're insects. They're never going to go away, but even insects can have an end to their cycle. So you have some concerns about that as well.
I do, and the main thing that I'm trying to get across is that we have insects all around us that are an integral part of our gardens, of our lives, and we're constantly swatting
that we need.
them. Absolutely, absolutely, to create the fruits that we rely on. And once people have taken the time to really look in their gardens, see what is jumping from flower to flower, there's a connection that's made, a deepening to nature. And that's what I really want to show with my work, and to encourage other people through my teaching.
And you still go out to a garden too, don't you? I mean, you'll go out into the wild all the time and draw.
And in every level, I walk around my neighborhood as much as I can. I go in my own yard. I also go into the woods as much as I can, because there are different insects everywhere. And no matter where you go, you're always going to find amazing creatures.
And is there any place in the Portland area where people can actually go right now and see your art, or can they go to a website to find more information?
Certainly, there's my Facebook page under Intersect Us Design. And I also have shows. Sometimes I have shows in Portland. I show my work nationally. I was just at the North Carolina Museum of Sciences, so that was my most recent. I was also the artist in residence at Zion National Park.
Lovely.
So I still have some work on the web for those.
So then what are 2 or 3 things that just an average gardener can do if they want to go out and start drawing these creatures in their garden?
Sure. So the first thing to begin would simply be to get a sketchbook. Any sketchbook will do. Go to the local art supply store, get either some pencils, like an HB pencil would be a great start, maybe even some color pencils. I tend to love the Prismacolor pencils, simply because they're just a luscious color. And just taking time. You know, drawing is so much like creating music. The more you practice, the better you get.
Yeah.
So simply going out into the garden, and when you're drawing insects who are alive, they are on the move. So the best tip that I can give you is to capture the insects first. Find a plant or an area that you want to draw, take out your chair, sit down for a little bit, and when you have an insect that's there, go ahead and sketch that insect as soon as you see it, and then create the environment around it.
Okay.
It makes it so much easier. And then you can start adding your colors after you've done pencil and build on it from there.
And speaking of learning how to do these wonderful drawings, I'm going to be talking with you now, Janice, and you actually work here at Leach.
Right.
So there is a wonderful class that they can come out with the artist here
Right.
and take this class. When is that happening?
So that is Saturday, June 27th from 10 to 3 o'clock. We'll be out actually here in the Upper Meadow.
Yeah.
And we'll be exploring with Zebeth. We'll be exploring the garden and spending time here in the
Wonderful.
tent. And yeah.
What a great time. But you know, it's not the only class. You guys do a lot of great
Right.
classes here, don't you?
Right, we do a lot of events, a lot of classes, especially in the summers. We do a lot of art classes here in the tent. Watercolor, drawing, illustration, some basketry, ikebana.
Wow. And I'm sure that those are all listed on your website as well.
Right, and a lot of other events that are happening after hours and lectures and
Wonderful.
such too.
So there you have it. For more information, we always invite you to go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to the Leach Botanical Garden website and get all this information for yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you.